Welcome to day one of 30 Days of Sketches. And this hop is hosted by Christy Harriman, and I could not be more excited to kick things off with this amazing day one sketch by Sarah Christensen. This is just the beginning of an incredible month of creativity, so be sure to like, comment and subscribe so you don't miss a layout. Let's pull our papers and photos and get this month started. I'm Kathy, and today I'm creating this layout, as you just saw that fantastic sketch, using photos that I took when I was at Glow earlier this year. Now, this particular layout is one that I am going to utilize some of my scraps for that have been laying around on my desk, and it's perfect for that type of an idea. I have these photos which were cut down to 3x3, and I'm actually going to cut them down now to 3.25 by 3. No, 2.75 by 3. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Couldn't even think what size I cut them to. 2.75 by 3 so that I can fit them onto this layout. Now I have the beautiful blue wood grain paper there that I got from Scrapbook Fantasies, and I am actually just going to put a border in with a thin strip of the yellow cardstock. And this is an easy trick of bordering up your layouts by cutting 1/4 inch of cardstock. You can then just build a frame around your layout, and that's what I'm doing here to make this whole layout pop. Now, when I first saw this sketch, I was really unsure about what I wanted to do. I was like, I'm not sure how I can even work this sketch. But then I decided that I'd go with the underwater theme of the photos, and it actually came together quite well and quite easily. Now, I do think a lot before I do my layouts. I sit and I think about them for a long time. I'm a bit of a planner in my head for an excessive amount of time, I must say. It sometimes is ridiculous how long I spend thinking about a layout before I begin. But once I begin and I'm happy with what I've got for it, it just comes together quite easily. So now that I have built my border around my page, you can see how much that pops that now. It looks quite effective. And the reason I chose the yellow was because there were hints of yellow in my photos. Now, these photos, as I said, were taken at Glow at Sydney Zoo earlier this year, and they were of the underwater scene near the aquarium. And I just loved how they looked and how much pretty colours were involved in this layout. I am actually using this as a companion page to one I've done previously, which I will link here in the comments for you. So up the top, if you go to that link, you can go and see the video that this one relates to. So it will be a companion page, and that ties in nicely. So I'm just matting each of these little ones with a hint of yellow behind, and that's dragging that border into my layout. But you can also see that there's the yellow in that paper that I'm going to use as the backing underneath, and I just love the colors. So I'm just going to trim it down so that I can use it on the page as per the sketch. Now there are 4 here, and I have cut them at 3 by I think I did them at 4.25, 3 by 4.25. And that just gives me that little leeway there to build up the embellishments on the side. And then I need to cut the longer ones now, and they are going to go down the 4 corners, and they too are 3 by 4.25, 3.75, 3.75 they are. And they fit in there like so. And then I'm going to build this middle one because I actually don't have a full, but I'm going to build it. And you can see by putting the papers together, it looks like it's one strip anyway. And because I do put things over the top, you won't even see the joins. Now on the sketch, she has got these extra patches on hers, which I am now drawing in the underlay from the photo mats. And that's bringing the colours into the layout. And then on my center one there, I am also going to build that underlay with the leftover pieces. But first I'm going to adhere these into place so I've got them and don't lose them. I have a terrible tendency of knocking things off my desk and then not being able to find them when I want them again. So I'm just making sure that they're on the layout and so that everything is in place so I can continue working. And I'm just loving the color scheme. It's just working perfectly for those photos, and that's always how I work. I work by my photo colors. I think that that's very important when you're creating a layout, is that if if you want your photos to pop, regardless of how busy your background or how busy your clusters, your photos will always pop if the colors of your papers match the colors of your photos. That's something I've learnt over time. They don't clash. People often think that they will clash. They won't if you make sure that the colors are pretty similar to what's in your photos. So I'm building up this stash here, and trust me, I've learnt that from lots and lots of errors where I have thought papers will work with a photo and it hasn't. So I do that very, very carefully now. And I'm just building that up there, and you can hardly tell that that's a patched together piece. And once all the pieces that I've fussy cut out go onto it, you will not even notice. Now, all of these fussy cut elements have come from the icons page of Under the Sea at Scrapbook, Scrapper Sketch, and it's really cool that I was able to implement all of these into this layout to build up this total overall effect, and I love it. I love the overall design. There are some seahorses that I was able to drag into my layout, and I'm just mixing and matching and playing with it, and I'm just putting the seahorses at opposite corners on the diagonal, and that's keeping it going across the page. And then I'm just layering up the little pieces, and you'll see that I'll audition them around lots and lots of different ways, because it's really a tricky process to make sure that it's balanced, and I wanted to try and stay true to the sketch as well. One thing that you won't see, and that's because when I go to stick it all down once I've mapped it all out, is I actually go off screen and use my die cutting machine and cut some bubbles, which I will need to put into these embellishment clusters, and you will see that when I have stuck them down. Some of them will be popped up on foam dots, others will be flat against the layout, and that's going to give it that dimension and texture. But I do love how all of this is coming together, and these, as I said, these printable icons from Scrapper Sketch, which I'll put down below a link to, they just fitted so well and complemented the colors of the layout. I couldn't have asked for better if I tried. So I'm just throwing in some shells, I'm throwing in some coral, I've got some starfish and some little fish, and it's just all looking like an underwater aquarium, which is so cute, and just pulling this whole concept together. So it just shows you that on a sketch, your embellishments don't have to be what is put there. They're just the suggestion. So on the sketch, Sarah had flowers, and I am putting in sea elements. So you could have cogs, you could have whatever it is, the theme of your layout, and they can build the same clusters. So don't be afraid to swap out what is on the suggested sketch to things that match your intention for your layout. And I just love how this is looking. So I'm going to go off, and I am going to just pop a few more things in to make sure it's balanced. And there you go. I went off screen so you didn't see me gluing it all down, because that's pretty boring. And you can just see how those bubbles got added in behind the fish and the seahorse and the shells. And it's just that little bit of an extra to add and build that cluster and make it pop a little bit more. So I'm just showing you how I use the foam dots to pop up the little pieces, and I'm just putting in that tag at the top, which will be my journaling, and saying where this was. And look at that. I love how this all came together. I'm going to put in the title, the word glow, because that's where it was. It's Sydney Glow. And I don't have an L, so I'm going to have to build an L with these foam thickers. And that's pretty easy. In the case of an L, it's just putting in a horizontal leg at the bottom, and it looks like it's all one letter, and you wouldn't know that I had constructed that together. And look at that, isn't it adorable? Now, to make those panels really stand out, I'm going to go around all of them with my black pen. Now that's just something I like to do. I want each piece to stand out. It makes it pop just a little bit more. I could have inked around the edges. I could have sewn around the edges. There's so many different options that you could have done. You could, if you're using white cardstock, you could even do like a glow behind each of the squares with some mixed media. So this sketch is very versatile, and I think it's going to become one I come back and do again, because I really do like the fact that this grid style is off-centered, because it's got the parallel and horizontals all over the place, which is pretty good. And then I just love that you can have those embellishment clusters as separate panels, and it still has 4 photos on the page. So I can't wait to check out what everybody else in the hop is doing. There will be so many interpretations, and there will be a full playlist, which I'll have linked down below. But you can also go over to Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches Facebook page, which I'll put in as a link at the bottom, so that you can check out and play along as well. And you will be inspired by some very talented creators out there. So I'm hoping that I've done enough to earn a thumbs up from you. As always, YouTube loves that interaction. If you ever see the hype button on my videos, which should be appearing very soon, if you do see those hype buttons, don't forget to give me a hype. It will really, really help to push out my content. I really need that happening once that hype starts hitting my videos. So just check out what everybody else is doing. I'm adding in those Nuvo dots in the pearl there, and that's just finishing off those clusters, and I just love it. I can honestly say this turned out way better than I thought it was going to turn out, and I really, really think it's a great companion page. There you can see it up nice and close. I've got a little bit of journaling in there, and I have got those bubbles coming out. How effective does that die look? It looks really, really cool, and that's how easy it is to add that little bit extra to make your clusters pop. So have fun, everybody. Go and play. Don't be afraid to mix and match those icons and elements to build your layout so it looks the way you want it to look. Here it is, up close, full playlist down below. Don't forget to go and check everybody out and leave them a thumbs up or a comment. It makes everybody very, very happy. And I'm really sorry about the background noise. My children don't remember that I said I'm videoing, and they just come in and clash around the house like the elephants they are. Happy scrapping, everybody, and I really do appreciate you coming back every single time to watch. Stay creative, come back for the next one. And here's my next video for you. I'll see you there real soon.